Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Dip with Chelsea, and I am back. I have missed you guys so much, and I cannot wait to share this video with y'all. I actually filmed it before I moved, but I am just now getting to edit it. So we will be chatting about an Amazon dip powder kit today. This is the Modelones, and it includes a 2-in-1 base and top coat liquid, which is exactly why I bought it to share with y'all. So as I'm doing this video, I see it retails for $19.99 on Amazon. It includes 12 colors and a base and top coat liquid and activator. So I'm just gonna roll these out onto my desk here, and I wanted to show you guys this instructional pamphlet. I love that it includes pictures next to every step. I always think that's great and super helpful, but honestly, these are the star of the show for me. This is why I purchased this particular kit on Amazon to review. I have reviewed the Azure 2-in-1 liquid, and if y'all saw that video, you would know that I loved it. So I really wanted to try this one out and see how it compares. So a 2-in-1 liquid is a base liquid and a top coat in one bottle. It also includes the activator. So these are 15 ml plastic bottles. They're kind of like oversized travel size liquids. You can see they're very lightweight. They're very thin, skinny bottles, which would be great for traveling. My own personal preference is not this type of bottle because they are so lightweight that I don't want to worry about knocking them over on my desk. But again, just personal preference. So each of these have the same amount of liquid in them, but just for comparison, so you can see against a typical type of dip powder liquid bottle, this is still the same amount of liquid. It just is a different class of weight. So one is a little bit more sturdy and the other is really lightweight. So here's where things got drastically different for me. As you can see, my right side is Azure, my left is Modelones. The right side has a long handle for me to hold onto and a very short insert stick. Now on the left side here, it is an extremely small amount for me to hold onto and a very long brush stick. And you can tell a huge difference in these brush bristles. You can see the right side is very thick, very dense, longer, where the left is a very thin bristle brush, and it's not very long. I'll be going into more detail about how this affected my application. So here are the dip powder jars. They are 8 grams, so little teeny tiny, but very standard for an Amazon dip powder kit. They are numbered, so here is number 138. It does have a seal on it. It's just a very pretty light pink. So here are the colors in my kit that I purchased. Unfortunately, these particular shades are sold out, but when I click on the link, I do see now that they have replaced these shades with this. And honestly, I am really loving this kit as well. So I'm going to leave this particular kit linked down below. So to start, I grabbed shade 139. It's a very light neutral tan shade and a cupcake liner to pour over, and I grabbed my 2-in-1 base liquid. So I really struggled at first to sort of find my rhythm with this brush. You can see it has a very short handle to hold onto, and I have to keep my hand pretty far away from my nail because of the stick insert being so long. I honestly don't know what else to call that part of the brush, so I apologize if I am calling it the wrong thing. And I wipe my brush off on a napkin, then pouring the powder over top. Totally don't have to pour over, I just chose to because the jars are so teeny tiny, but overall I'm very impressed with the coverage of this first layer. I follow those same steps for this second layer, doing a full layer across my entire nail. Overall, I would say that this is not a super fast drying liquid. It is faster, but not overly fast where I wasn't able to get the powder on quick enough. So the kit does not include a brush, so I have my stiff scrub brush here to dust off the excess powder. A stiff scrub brush is just my personal preference because it removes a lot of the excess dip powder on the nail rather than a fluffy brush. So for my second layer, it's going to be another full coat coverage, and honestly, you guys, when I saw this brush, I thought of Gru. Like, I thought of his long, skinny legs. That's what it reminds me of, and I still cannot wrap my brain around the fact that this was one of the cleanest applications I have had in a hot minute. Look at how clean this is when I tap this off. That's without a toothpick. I don't have to clean up anything around my cuticle area. Y'all, I don't know. I don't get it. I did not enjoy holding this brush. You can see how tiny it is in my hand. It was hard for me to hold. The stick is so long, yet I'm having one of the prettiest manicures I've had in a really long time. So help me understand. So here is shade 57, and I'm gonna do another full layer on my pointer and pinky. So humor me for a minute, y'all, okay? I'm gonna throw out a theory. Here's my theory on why this came out so clean. It is a thinner consistency. It's not a dense brush, so it's thin and it's not long, which makes me think that maybe you can't have as much product on there, so it's easier to control on the nail. I'm not getting it on my skin, I'm not getting it around my cuticle area, and it's just making it overall easier to control. But what is throwing me off was it felt hard to control. It was hard to hold into my hand. It was so far away from my nail than what I'm used to. You can see how far my hand sits back away. It didn't feel easier, but yet it looks so clean. Even the dip powder had a really great coverage. You can see after just 2 layers, it is fully opaque. So here's the last shade I'll be using. It is number 52 on my middle finger. Overall, y'all, I am just going to have to say this is going to be largely based on your personal preference. I am used to a certain type of dip powder brush handle, and it really threw me for a loop with this kit, but I cannot deny the fact that these powders were beautiful, very pigmented, very easy to use, and the fact that it came out so clean. I have to give brownie points where they are due. But I do want to warn you guys, it may throw you for a little loop when you go to use this particular brush bottle and handle. So the kit does not include clear dip powder, so I'll be using clear from Color My World Dips. Any clear dip powder will do. I'm just doing another full layer with my base and top coat liquid across the entire nail, and then I'm going to pour the clear dip powder over top. Clear dip powder is what's going to help protect the color when I go to file, shape, and buff. I am dying to hear if you guys have tried out this kit. Have you used any bottles that have this type of insert where it has a super long little neck stick, whatever we want to call that part of this brush, where it has a really thin brush, where it's really short bristles, and a really tiny handle? Have you used anything like this? What was your experience? What is your personal preference? I didn't know that I had one. I have never tried anything other than that typical standard bottle size, unless it comes in a travel size, but this is like travel size, jumbo sized. Now it's time to activate, so I'm going to apply a very generous layer of this to all of the nails and then let that sit for 2 minutes before I file, shape, and buff. So I'm all done filing and shaping. You will need to purchase a separate nail file and buffing block because the kit does not include that. So I have my Macart 100/180 grit and just a little pink buffing block. I will link the nail files down below and some buffing blocks that I like to use. Now it's time to activate one more time and then let that dry before we do top coat. So now I'm going to use the same 2-in-1 liquid, but now as a top coat. The first layer is just 3 quick strokes on the nail. I do wipe my brush off camera every single time after it touches my nail before going back into the bottle. So it dries pretty quick, so I can go right in for that second layer. The second layer is more detailed, more precise, making sure I get all the way to the sidewalls and really capping off my free edge area. So overall, some final thoughts on this kit. I do still suggest it. I did enjoy using these powders. Although I struggled with application, you wouldn't even be able to tell with this final look. It came out so clean and so pretty. I think if it wasn't for me just having a personal preference and what I'm used to, I wouldn't really have so much negative feedback with as far as the brush goes. The powder was light, it was airy, it was pigmented, the colors are so pretty, and as you can see, you can get a really high shine and a clean application. So overall, for $19.99 on Amazon, I would highly suggest this kit if you are in the market to dabble in some more dip powder kits. Thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next Friday in the next video.